Okay, so today I'm doing a Rustic Farmhouse refurb. This video is sped up like 8 times because the whole thing took me about 4 hours. It's the longest build I've ever done. Well, actually not ever done. So far on my channel, it's the longest build I've ever done, I think. So I had to speed it up quite a bit. I just had an idea. I was looking at like older farmhouses. Whenever I get inspired to do a certain type of home, I always try to look up pictures on Google and do the outside of a picture that I find. And that's kind of what I did here, but the inside I was completely, I just make up the floor plan as I go. But the outside was definitely inspired by a picture I found on Google. And I wanted to do something that was probably built a long time ago and was used as a farmhouse back in the day, but has since been refurbished, I guess. And so that's kind of what I did here. The style that I used for the inside of the house is definitely my kind of style. Like, it's if I had unlimited money and I could decorate my house however I wanted, it would look a lot like this one on the inside. I really like the way it turned out. Some things are a little cluttery and maybe a hit and miss on the interior decorating part of it, but I think it turned out pretty well. The outside of the house always takes the longest, of course. Like this one especially took a really long time to get it just right. I was referring to a picture, so I was struggling to find a way to make it look the same. The back of the house, of course, I mean, when I find a picture on Google, it's only the front of the house, not the back of it. Sometimes I find houses that come with like floor plans and pictures of every room and the back of the house, and then I try to build those, but very rarely do the floor plans work that well, I guess. Like, I built the outside and then I go to do the floor plan and it's just not, I don't know, it doesn't really work that well. So in this case, I just kind of built the front according to the picture that I found, and the rest was just, I kind of made it up as I went, I guess. Of course, I'm using the windows from Seasons because I'm obsessed with them. I use the ones from Seasons and the ones from Cats and Dogs the most, I think. I really like that style. For this house, I really wanted the outside to be like a vibrant yellow, but we don't really have a vibrant yellow siding in the game. We have like a pale yellow, we have like a pale peachy color. So I did use yellow. Like, that color is supposed to be yellow, but it's not nearly as bright as what I wanted. I do wish we had some brighter colors for siding, because the outside wasn't exactly the way that I pictured it being, or even the picture I found on Google was a bright yellow house. But when I went to build this house, because I wanted to do something like with a farmhouse feel and in the color yellow, so that's what I typed in on Google, and it's the color of this house, it just doesn't do justice to what I had envisioned doing. I don't remember if I actually ended up cutting out the floor plan or not. Again, it was such a struggle, and I actually got so frustrated with this floor plan that I was like, no, I don't like this build, I don't even want to finish it. So I was tempted to give up on it entirely. I did do this build in one sitting, which was really difficult. It was about, I don't know, like 10 episodes of Bob Ross's The Joy of Painting. That's a lot. Not too much, though. There's definitely no such thing as too much Bob Ross. So again, listening season 31, for some reason I'm going backwards. I'm starting with season 31 and then going backwards in time. I don't really know why. That's just how it started out. So yeah, it was a lot of Bob Ross. I just kind of put my headphones in and try to get in the zone when I'm trying to build. And the floor plan was just so frustrating. If I didn't have Bob Ross in my ear telling me I could do it, I swear I don't think I could. So there are a few things that I think changed along the way, but this is always my biggest struggle. And then I decided I didn't want to cut out too much. Like, anything I did cut out, like I said, I can't remember if I did or not, but as I was building it, I thought like, I can't include this. It's going to take way too long. But then I thought it's kind of nice to be able to see builders struggle with basic things like this. because sometimes I watch videos and they put the floor plan in like they knew what it was going to be before they even started building. And maybe that's because they were referring to a floor plan. I don't know. But for me, it's definitely not like that. It takes a lot of moving things around. And sometimes I even like draw. I have like a piece of paper and a pen and I'm drawing things. Like it's really frustrating. If I don't like the floor plan, then I lose all inspiration and I don't even want to keep building. So I really have to work at it to make it just right. And I think what you see now is the final floor plan. Yeah, it all looks pretty good. So this house ended up being 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. I wish I could remember how much it turned out to be, but I can't remember at all. There's quite a bit of expensive furniture in here, I think, because I did use a lot of stuff to really clutter it up. I did cut out the landscaping at the end because it just took a really long time and I don't find it very interesting to watch. And I try to keep my videos at half an hour, and because I know after a certain point in time you just lose interest, so I did try to cut that out just to save on time, I guess. And so you won't actually see any of that, but I did include it in the screenshots. It's nothing exciting anyway. I am not a pro when it comes to landscaping. I think I actually really suck at landscaping. I mean, I'm getting better, but even not just landscaping, but just backyards in general, like where to put things or how to put things or what colors to use, placement of different items. It's a struggle for me. So yeah, I cut it out, and you'll just see it in the screenshots. So for every single room, I used a, not one specific picture, but I had Google open, or Pinterest in this case, and I would type in the style of room that I wanted to do for inspiration. And so in this case, it was like an all-white kitchen, which I loved. I do end up going in and changing the countertops from black to white, but I think I do that, like that might be the very last thing that I do. I can't remember. But I did change them because it wasn't giving me the farmhouse feel like I wanted. I did want a really rustic kitchen. I did the double stoves, which I don't think I've ever done before, but I wanted to give that a try. So I did that. And what else did I do? Like I said, I Googled each individual room that I wanted to do, and tried to make it come to life. In this case, I was using a lot of like the table that goes in the middle. I wanted it to be like an old rustic wooden table. A lot of things I wanted to have it like kind of an antique-y look. And I think in this case, it worked out pretty well. I just put those 2 end tables together to form a table in the middle and just put some stuff on it. I've realized the stuff on the table isn't centered, and it's bothering me now to look at it, but once you're in the build, it doesn't really matter at all. So those things don't actually end up changing. They are not centered. Sorry if that is really annoying to look at. I put as much as I could on the countertops without making it look junky. I find with these, like this rustic design, there's a fine line between rustic and junk. Like sometimes things are so cluttered that it just looks like a mess, but I think I managed to find the balance in this build. I don't think it's too bad. Again, I've been using the cutting board in like every single build. I don't know why. I just think it looks really nice, kind of tucked away with the knife block there. So I did that. I also really like the look of those 2 hanging pictures, like I think it's oranges and apples, I can't remember, but I sized them down so that they both fit on the same wall, and I thought it looked really good there. And I put like a dog bowl. I, again, don't remember if I put in a pet bed. For some reason, I always intend to design the house with a pet living there, but I only put a bowl in and nothing else, and I just forget along the way, I guess. And then I just put in some wall lights behind the counter. I really like those older lantern type lights, and I think I do use them in a few spots around the house. And I love the old like mason jar lights. I just love those. Like I would get those in real life. You could easily make them, but I think they worked really well in the kitchen. And then the dining room, I had a vision to have a table just like the one I pulled out right there, but I wanted one side to be like a bench and the other side to be chairs. Because it's kind of something you see in a lot of rustic designs, and that was what I really wanted to do, but I couldn't find a way to make that work. And then one day I don't even remember what I was doing, but something non-sim related. And it occurred to me that I can actually use those end tables, like the one I used in the kitchen there. I could use one of those and maybe size it down, or possibly use two and size them down and put them together to form that bench idea. So you'll probably see me do that eventually in one of my builds. It didn't occur to me while I was doing this build, so you're not going to actually see it, but I am going to use that idea soon and see if it works, because I really like the idea of having that bench there. I pulled out the picnic table. I was like, could I make this work? But there was just no way to do it, so had to just go with the dining room the way it was. I love that like light wood color. I'm a big fan, and everything in this build is just totally something I would buy. And then I took all those little pictures, sized them down, and just cluttered them up, put them around, and I don't know if it looks the way that I had envisioned it looking, or if it just looks messy, but I actually think it worked out pretty well. I may have used a couple of pictures and a couple of clutter items more than once. I find that we're very limited when it comes to wall hangings and pictures. We just don't have very much. We don't have nearly enough, especially given how many packs we have in the game. There's just not enough to work with, so I probably had to use a couple of those more than once. I think that was it for the dining room. I can't quite remember. Oh, yeah, gotta have that. I hated the idea of anything being bare. Like, I wanted every wall filled, and I wanted it to have a lot of character. So in this case, I put like that camera under the table, and I put like a wine rack on top of that shelf, and then I was trying to find different like paint swatches. I didn't really know what color I should be using. I did like this one that I went with, like the sandy brown. I can't remember if I ended up changing it or not, but this room turns out to be my favorite room. It might be a little bit much, I guess, but I think it turned out to be pretty good. I wanted that wall to have like some kind of feature wall. I don't remember what I ended up going with. I liked the idea of that wallpaper there, but at the same time it wasn't rustic looking. It was too elegant. I might have ended up keeping it though. I really can't remember. For a lot of the rooms I used siding, like white or brown siding, like just wood as a feature wall. But in this room, I think actually that wallpaper works out. I really do like that wallpaper. And then just that coffee table, again with that like light wood color. I don't really know if it works that well, how I have the that bay window bench in the corner there with the shelf behind it. That might be a little too much, especially because that same shelf is across the room. I think if I could change anything about this build, I would just take that shelf out. That's probably all I would do. That's the only thing that I am looking at and thinking I maybe not be a huge fan of that. I do love that frame though above the fireplace with the lights. I'm a big fan. I put two mirrors behind it just because it looked too blank, I think, with just the wallpaper behind it. And then I was playing around with curtains. I really like the idea of this living room looking very like cozy and plush and elegant, and it's a small space, so it was kind of easier to do. I find that smaller spaces are easier to decorate because you've got some limitations. When you have no limitations, for some reason it's way harder. Yeah, the living room, I also had this idea to put up some hanging lights. I think it looks good. I don't know, maybe that's not quite what those lights were intended for, but I thought it looked pretty good there. I do think I end up changing that half wall to a taller wall. At some point you'll see me bring out a bookshelf and struggle with placement of it. I really like the idea of that big tall bookshelf from Seasons kind of going in as a wall. But I just couldn't make it work the way that I wanted to. And now I think, again, I'm looking at more pictures for inspiration. The bathroom, I don't remember if that's the room I do next, but see, I'm just playing with like different sidings. I did like that like light wood one. I honestly can't remember what I ended up choosing, but now that I'm looking at it, I kind of preferred the wallpaper. I don't know. I go back and forth. I really do like the idea of the siding as a feature wall, though. I think it looks really good. And each room has, I think every room has a feature wall with the wooden siding. I just can't remember which colors I used. The bathroom, just very basic, nothing exciting in there. The upstairs bathroom I really like, but this one is just a half bath, so I usually don't put a ton of effort into those ones. And then I think we're on to the other room. This one is more like a formal living area, I guess, with the fireplace. And then the other living room has like the big screen TV and the longer couches. Yeah, so here's where I struggle with the bookshelf. I had a vision and I couldn't make it work the way that I thought it would. So again, I don't remember what I ended up doing, but unfortunately the vision I had in my head just didn't work out. I think I just put it in front of the half wall. This house doesn't really have much of a foyer because there's no place for like a shoe rack really. So I don't think I did anything like that, just a rug mostly. I honestly don't know what I'm doing right now. Like I'm baffled by my own actions. I have no idea what's going on. I like the idea of having like a window in that wall, but it just didn't work. And then I think in this room I even put some like guitars in there and just cluttered it up. I did have the idea to put a guitar on the wall, but it didn't work because I raised it up, but there was still a stand under the guitar and it looked really silly. So I basically just got rid of that entirely. And then I put in, three of them together, just cluttered there. In the office, I really like the idea of the Sim living here being a photographer, but that whatever that thing is with the studio lights and the backdrop, it just didn't work. It was way too big for this room. Even when I sized it down, it was too much. If this house had a basement, I probably would have put it down there because I did like the idea of the Sim living here being a photographer, but that just didn't work out. So I did this like wall unit with the computer. I put a keyboard in there. I even did like this office area is pretty small, but I think I did a lot with the space. I may have taken the keyboard out though and put in a yoga mat instead. And I also put in like an easel as like a little art nook, I guess. It's a pretty small office, but I did put a lot of stuff in there somehow. And I did not play or test this house though. So I honestly can't say if everything worked properly or not. I'm really not sure. Eventually, like I say with all my builds, I would love to have Sims move into this house, but right now I don't think I have any Sims that could afford it. It's definitely over 100,000. I just can't remember exactly how much. I am curious though, so I might check because I ended up loving this house so much that I honestly would like to have my Sims live here. It's my exact style of house that I would like to have. So I'm just looking at it now to find out how much it's worth. Where is it? Rustic Farmhouse Refurb. So it's $157,000 on the gallery. It's pretty expensive. That's not that bad though, considering how much stuff I put in here. And also while I'm building, I never ever think about price. I have never done a starter home. I've never done like a base game home where, you know, I never put limitations on myself when I'm building. I have thought about doing build challenges though, like the solid color challenge and the black and white challenge, the no mistakes challenge. There's quite a few. I would like to try them, but I always feel like in the end, it's not going to turn out to be a house that I would want my Sims to live in or that anyone would download from the gallery. So it's almost like a waste of time to me. But I still would like to try them eventually. But I always feel like if I'm spending time building, I should be building something that someone would actually want to download on the gallery. It's always exciting when you can see how many downloads you get from your builds. This one I put up a few days ago, and I don't know how many downloads it has right now, but not that many actually. But I was really excited about it. I think it looks really good. The outside, it always depends on what the outside looks like, I think. And for this one, it's quite plain on the outside, just because, you know, it's not a very exciting build. But I'm excited about it personally. I can't wait to live here. And I love both of those living rooms. They both look very, very cozy. I put like a little shelf at the wall there because I thought maybe I needed something because there's no foyer really. You just walk in, there's a shelf right in front of your face. So on the side there, I just put like a little shelf. And oh, that light, I may have taken that out because I think when you walk in, it would hit your head. So I don't remember if I kept that in or not. For the upstairs, it's kind of weird. I usually have a vision for who would be living in this house, and in this case I really just did not. I just kind of went with it. I did a master bedroom, and then there's 2 other bedrooms that could be used as guest rooms or teen rooms. Didn't do any kids rooms in this build though, but I do end up, I love all 3 of the bedrooms. I think they worked out really nicely. This bathroom, I was going completely off a picture I found on Pinterest. It was hard though because we don't have a lot of like rustic items in the game other than what came in like the laundry day stuff pack. So it was kind of hard to make it work without like specific items that you would need. So it was a little bit tough, but I just like the idea of the bath being in the center of the room like that. Yeah, it's right up against a window, which is not ideal, but it looks nice from the inside. From the outside, you'd totally be able to see whoever's having a bath in there, but from the inside, it just looks really nice, like totally a place that you would want to hang out. And then I think I just was looking for a smaller side table to put there. Whatever I use, I probably sized down because they were all way too big. Oh, I guess that one was really small. I just put some candles there, and I think that was it. This whole house is a fire hazard. There's candles everywhere. In one place, I think it's the living room downstairs, there's a candle and a box of Kleenex. So, you know, that's just not wise, but it still looks good, so I kept it anyway. And then there I just put that like sunflower picture. The bedroom, again, I use another picture from Pinterest for the bedroom. I copied that room pretty much exactly. Well, no, not the whole room, just the bed, the tables, and the wall behind it. I copied it like almost exactly. And I think it worked out pretty well. It is a darker wood that I use though, and it's, I think, even more rustic than the rest of the house. Possibly too rustic. I don't know. That's the one I ended up going with. I think it came with the Spooky Day stuff pack, which is a little like, I never thought I'd use any of those items, but I used that one. And then I spent way too long looking for a little bench to go at the end of the bed. I don't remember what I ended up choosing, or if I chose anything at all. Like, wow. Honestly, how much time do you think that was? That was probably at least 1 episode of The Joy of Painting. That's a really long time. And then I just put in like a few clutter items on the side tables, and I love those lights. I think they're so cute. I don't use them very much. I use them in my Decades challenge, but other than that, I've never really found a good place for them, but I think it works in a rustic build, so I put them there. And I also put in a TV, I think, on that fireplace, and I took, for 2 of the bedrooms, I took 2 different screenshots. I did one with the lights on and one with the lights off and just like the candles lit because I thought it looked really nice. So I think I did that with both bedrooms, with the 2 like bigger bedrooms. So I'll include those in the screenshots as well. Just a couple of chairs there. I really like that plant that came with Jungle Adventures. I use it a lot because I don't really see it as just a Jungle's Adventure kind of theme, I guess. I use it in almost every house I build. And then I just put in like a fancier like light there. It might be a little too big for that room, but I think it ended up looking okay in the screenshots. I don't know which room I'm on to next. One of the rooms I did kind of like a more feminine, softer pink, and then the other one I did in like grays and blues. And that one bedroom with the gray and blue actually turned out to be my favorite bedroom I've ever built, I think, just because I use a lot of curtains and textures, and I think it looked really good. Bathroom is just super basic. I'm learning to not put so much effort into the bathrooms because less is more when it's bathrooms. Like, nobody expects them to be super exciting, so just put in the essentials and move on. I think that's what I need to learn how to do, because when I do too much, it doesn't look right. Anyway, this is the bedroom that I really love. I just like that bed. I think that's my favorite bed in the game. And then I found curtains that matched the pillows really well, so I thought that looked really good. I use a lot of grays too. I think grays and blues might be my favorite. That's what I would like to decorate my room with entirely, and I'm slowly making my way towards that. But yeah, this room turned out to be really nice, I think. And I did take a picture with just the candles lit and lights off, and I think it looked really nice. And then in the hallway, I just put like, for some reason, I always put that big mirror at the top of the stairs. I don't know why. I think it just opens up the hallway and makes it look really nice. And then here, I just did that like softer pink and gray bedding. And this room, I guess, is more of a teen room, I think. And the other one is more like a guest room. I don't know. I just didn't have a family in mind for who lived here. And I usually do, but in this case, maybe it was me because this is how I would want my house, I think. So I think subconsciously I was making this house for myself. And then the hallway, I just filled that up as well with a whole bunch of decorative items because blank hallways are boring. You gotta put something in there. And then I cut out the landscaping, so you'll see that in the screenshots, but it's not in the video. And let me know what you think in the comments. I love to get feedback on my builds, and please subscribe if you enjoyed the build. Thanks for watching.